How is it going, everybody? It is your boy Marcus, the Low Vision Snap player, and I welcome you guys back to a brand spanking new episode. For this episode, I'm going to be kind of ranking all the cards that I've collected throughout the course of this Snap Pack system for as long as it's been out. And also, I'm going to give you guys my honest thoughts on Snap Packs. Tell you what I like about them, what I don't like about them, what can be improved, stuff like that. So, yeah, you can see I have the 4 tiers. By the way, if you guys haven't seen my other season rankings, check them out. I gotta make sure to put like a playlist. I'll do that. I'll make a playlist for all of my previous tier lists, and don't you guys worry. There's gonna be more where that came from. But anyways, so these are. Oh yeah, so these right here are all the cards that I've collected from Snap Packs, starting with, Sasquatch was technically my first card. So you got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 cards. Well, I did get a new one today, so 16, but I'm not going to count that. In fact, you're going to have to stay tuned for the next episode because I will be showing you guys the new card that I got. But first off, let's talk about what are Snap Packs. So if you're new to the game, or if you're a new player and you're new to the game, or even if you're a returning player and you're like, Snap Packs, what are they? Well, basically, Snap Packs are kind of the new way of unlocking cards. So previously, before the system, we had this thing called the Spotlight Keys and Catches. And it looked a little something like this. So, as you can see, on the top, you have 4, technically 3 cards. On the right, on the left was usually like the new card that came out for the season. And then these 2 cards here were ones that you can unlock through the same system. And then there was also a random Series 4 or 5 card that you can also collect. And the way you would get access to the system was through these things, Spotlight Keys. And you can get them every 100 and, I think it was like every 120, but it says 117. But essentially, this was kind of like your primary way to earn cards in Snap. But there was a problem with that. It was way too grindy. You ended up having to use a lot of resources to get these keys. And on top of that, you don't get to choose the card that you get. It's like you leave it up to chance. And so, like, okay, let's say you use your first Spotlight Key. Boom, you might get Mirage. Or you might even get Loki. Or Collector, but you also, or Gladiator, sorry, not Collector. Then you also have a chance to pull for something random. But here's the thing. Sometimes, if you pull from this random Series 4 or 5 pack right here, you could have a chance to get duplicates. Now, on the plus side, you do get, I think it was like 2,000 tokens. But at the time, tokens were kind of a rare currency. And so it's like, if you did get tokens, that was a pretty big deal. But now that we have the new Snap Pack systems, they're kind of not as rare anymore. But you were kind of lucky to get some if you did end up pulling a dupe. But the problem with this system was that it was way too slow, like way too grindy, and also on top of that, it's like, if you missed out on one of the new cards for the season, who knows how long who knows when you would be able to unlock that card for the particular season. So it was kind of scary. It's like, for instance, for instance, with Gladiator here, I think that I gotta see what season Gladiator debuted, but let's say it was getting close to the end of his Spotlight week and you really wanted to get Gladiator, if you missed out on Gladiator, there really wasn't other ways for you to get him except for like either the token shop, or there was also that was it. That was pretty much it. But now these snap packs make it possible to get newer cards. In fact, let me kind of open up Marvel Snap so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So if we go into the shop here, before, right, I think, where was it? It was somewhere, I think it was like right above these boosters, but you can get, there was like this token shop, and they would have like an assortment of cards that you could pin. It's kind of like this. It was kind of like this here, where you would have the new card for that particular season on the right, and then you would have like a variant of some sort, and then like another card. You could pin them. That was the old token shop. But now, this is what the new system looks like. So on the top, right here, you have your seasonal Spotlight, and this is all the new cards that are coming out this season. So if we tap here, you can see what cards are available that you can pull, and this is nice. This is really nice because now it's like, okay, so I'm still missing 2 cards from last season, but I also have a chance to pull 3 of these other guys, right? And you can see the prices for them right here. So if you want to get the card up front, it's going to cost you 6,000 tokens, which is pretty pricey. Then for the seasonal Series 5, it's going to cost you 5,000 tokens, which it makes sense because a lot of these cards are fairly new, right? And then you also have your seasonals, Series 4s, which is pretty cheap. And you can see all the ones that you can get from there. Below that, you have your collector series. Now, I already finished my Series 3 packs. I already finished my Series 3 collection before this, so, you know, I can't necessarily tap on this to see what I have. But I am still missing cards from the Collector Series 5 and Series 4. And as you can see, the Collector Series 5 is a lot cheaper than the Seasonal Series 5. And then you also have your Collector Series 4. Price-wise, the Seasonal and Collectors are roughly the same amount, right? It's just the 500 token difference. If you wanted to get the season, which isn't too bad. So like if you had 4,500 tokens, you could spend 2,000 here, right? 2,000 here, or you could spend and you can also spend like your 2,500 here. Now I've already used up all my tokens getting the Collector Series 5. But I did make I did make a video when the system came out. Where I ended up getting Sasquatch, the first card that I'll be ranking. But yeah, so this system was introduced towards the end of the season for What If. In fact, Marvel Snap made a video for that on their main channel. I'm going to go to my second channel. So if we go to Marvel Snap's official channel, you can see right there they have a little like creator Q&A thing. So if you guys want to see that, you can definitely do that. But basically, it's a bunch of content creators asking one of the developers about the Snapback system and what that has to offer. So yeah, there is that. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering, how do I feel about the system? Well, to be honest, I kind of like it. It's definitely better than Spotlights. I feel like my collection has been growing a lot more. Like, compared to the Spotlight keys, it's like, yes, I've been able to get a decent amount, but it's like as far as all the Spotlights go, if you look at a collection here, I'd say I get like a fair amount. Like, the very last season that had this spotlight system was What If. Let me turn off variants real quick. So Infinity Ultron, right? That was from a spotlight catch. So I was able to get a decent amount of cards from there, but it's back to what I said. It was still fairly grindy to get. Like, getting Infinity Ultron took a lot. I ended up pulling Pixie first, and then Infinity Ultron afterward. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a step up. And I guess, like, one of the things that I like about the new system is the fact that, you know, like, the pricing and everything is good. It makes sense for them to be priced. By the way, if you're wondering how much it is for Series 3, I think it's like 650 tokens, so that's still pretty cheap. But yeah, pricing wise, it's pretty good. And I like the fact that you can at least see what you can get. Because imagine if Marvel Snap would just made this like a loot box system, where, like, a mystery crate, right? Where you couldn't get to see everything that you got. So being able to view cards, it kind of gives you like a, how do I put it? Like, being able to look at cards kind of gives you like a good sense of, like, okay, it gets you excited to want to pull for these packs, because it's like, I might have a chance to pull for Surtur, or maybe it's like, you know, since I missed out on Firehair from Prehistoric Avengers, I could have a chance to pull Firehair. So with this system, it's so much better that way. So, you know, there really is no, I'm not super worried about, you know, what card, like, I'm not super worried about not knowing which cards I can get, because they're right there. And I think the other benefit too that I like about the system is that you can kind of take this at your own pace. You can kind of do things, you can kind of choose where you want to, how you want to spend your tokens. Like, for me personally, I don't think I necessarily want to be collection complete. Like, I want to have a good amount of cards to pull for. Like, the Series 3 collection, it's fine. I mean, everyone's gonna complete their Series 3 collection at some point. But when it comes to, like, the bigger card, like the Series 4 and 5, I'm not too worried about it. Like, I really don't want to be collection complete. And so with more cards being added to this, it's kind of good, because it means that there's even more opportunities to pull stuff. Will I get a chance to pull those new cards that get into these packs? Not necessarily, but it's still kind of a fun new take, like a fun way to kind of collect more cards as you go. Like, with Spotlight Keys, you couldn't necessarily take your time, right? It's like you only had a certain amount of weeks before that card rotated out of the thing. So you kind of had to be quick. You had to use a lot of resources just to get one little Spotlight Key. And, you know, if you missed that week, good luck. You're good luck trying to get that card from the collector series, from like the random Series 4 or 5, or from any other means, because it was almost dang near impossible. So yeah, this is just like a breath of fresh air. And so now it's like, even with these newer cards, like, you're probably wondering, like, aren't you worried that you're gonna miss out on newer cards like Nightmare, or even these other three? Like, aren't you worried that you're missing out on these? Not necessarily, because here's the thing, and I think I did kind of explain it just now, but essentially, like, these cards here, after, like, like every few seasons, these cards will potentially drop down. So, for instance, these two cards, Elixir and Prodigy, these were from New X-Men. In just a few weeks, when the new season drops, these two cards are going to be added to the random Series 5 pool. So, again, I'm not worried about that. Even for the Series 4s, I'm not too worried about this Batroc the Leaper dropping down into the collector's packs, because it's like, it'll be kind of cheaper to unlock these cards. Whether the season has good cards or bad cards, regardless, I'm gonna be unlocking these in some way, shape, or form. So even if they do drop to the collector Series 5 packs, it's fine. It means, like, if I got 1,000 tokens from like collector's chests and stuff, and then I get 3,000 from the collection track, boom, I can open up a Series 5. No problem. I don't have to put in so much effort. But there is one little gripe that I do have about this, and it's not like the system itself. Pricing and everything is good, and also the fact that you're not getting any duplicates. That's the best part. There's literally no duplicates. And what's cool is that you're also getting other goodies. It could be boosters, it could be credits, it could be tokens, and sometimes it can even be other cards. In fact, I managed to get Sebastian Shaw. Oh yeah, you're kind of getting a little sneaky peeky of the new card here. But I managed to pull Sebastian Shaw and Blob from the same Series 4 pack. But it's not going to happen all the time. But when it does, it's still really cool. It's still a really cool thing to happen. And so you're kind of getting like 2 cards for the price of 1. You know what I mean? So overall, man, this system really, it's really good. But my thing is, though, my gripe with the system is it involves the tokens, right? See, before this new spotlight system, or before snap packs, these tokens were kind of rare. They were a rare currency, right? Like, for the most part, the currencies that you would spend in game would be gold and credits. Those were the main ones, and then your tokens were kind of rare. But now that we need these tokens for packs, it's kind of becoming a bit of a problem, because it's like, I want to open up more packs, but I can't, because I have to go through the same thing that I did with Spotlight keys, right? So look, check this out. They don't even tell you how often you get the thing is, they don't even tell you how often you get the 3,000 tokens. But look, let me show you guys. So let's say I get this batch of 3,000. Look at how much effort, look at how much stuff I'm gonna have to upgrade so many cards just to get 3,000 tokens. And then you can earn tokens from these collector's reserve, but the thing is, it's random. So it's like, you kind of have to rely on these collector's reserves and this thing to at least get enough tokens. And don't get me wrong, 3,000 tokens, that's pretty solid. I mean, you'll be able to get a Series 2, but you'll be able to get like a Series 2 and maybe at least 1 or 2 Series 3 cards if you don't have your Series 3 collection complete. But once you do complete your Series 3 collection, you really only have room to get 1 card. And so I think it would be good if they added more options. And actually, they did add they did add tokens as a reward for the new game mode High Voltage Overdrive, which I did make a video for. So if you haven't seen that, make sure to check that out. But you can indeed earn tokens from this, so it is a start. It's a good start for adding other options for tokens. So I hope Marvel Snap continues to do so. In fact, I think the best, what they should do is add either two things. Either add a token section, or replace the credits in like at least the weekly mission. Replace the credits with tokens. Right? Because check this out. You get 100 tokens, then you get 200 tokens, so now you're up to 300, plus another 250, that's 550. Then you get 300 more tokens, that's 850, plus the other 5, that's like 1350, right? And then you complete your other dailies. So 1450 and then 1500. If you do that continuously, complete all the dailies, you could pretty much have enough to get a pack at some point. So I think it would be better if they added tokens to the missions, because after all, you are completing your missions in some way, shape, or form. Like you're always going through your daily and weekly missions as you play the game. So I think that's one thing that they should do. But otherwise, this system is pretty freaking awesome. Now that I've kind of shared with you guys my thoughts on the new system, time for the ranking. Time for the fun part. So the first card that I collected for the new Spotlight system is going to be Sasquatch. So Sasquatch is a 6-cost 10 power card. I didn't do the abilities, but basically Sasquatch's ability is, I think the card gets cheaper every time you play stuff in the last turn, and the powered stuff is good, but for me, Sasquatch is a little bit too tricky, because it's like you kind of have to. It's like I'll play cards one turn, and then Sasquatch gets cheaper, but then the next turn it goes back to a 6-cost card. So I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? What am I missing? So I think Sasquatch, it's not terrible. I wouldn't even say it's average either. Well, no, yeah, I think I'm gonna put it in average. It's not terrible, but I don't think it's one that I would use a lot. So Sasquatch going in average. Shabam. After Lasher, after Sasquatch we have Lasher. Lasher, this was the second card that I pulled from Snap Packs. He is a 2-cost, 2-power card, and then this dude basically has an activate ability, and what it does is he'll discard all the cards that cost like 1 or less, and he'll basically deal that much damage to your opponent. In fact, I actually made a deck when Merlin came out. I made a deck that kind of takes advantage of this, right? Like with the incantations, when you have enough incantations in hand, you can play Lasher, discard all the incantations and whatever 1-cost cards you have in that deck, and do a lot of damage. It's really, really fun. But is he in them, or am I thinking of something? No, that's a different card. No, I think I'm mixing up Bullseye, because that's Bullseye's ability. No, this is Lasher. Activate. Afflict an enemy card here with negative power equal to this card. So I guess essentially, like with this card, if you gave him an extra 3 power, he'll do like he'll deal like 3 damage or something. I don't know. I mixed it up with Bullseye. That's the next one. I think his ability isn't too shabby, although he's not a card that I use quite often. But I mean, for what it is, it's pretty fun. So I think Lasher is going to go in the great tier. Now, Bullseye, that was the one I was talking about. So Bullseye basically has the ability that I was talking about with Lasher, where you can discard, where he'll discard all of your 1-cost cards or less, and he'll turn that into like damage. He'll deal that much damage depending on how many 1-cost cards that you discard. So it's really fun. And I actually did build a deck kind of around that specific ability with Merlin. In fact, I think it was this deck right here. So you can see I have Merlin, I have Surge, I also have Bullseye. But every time Merlin adds an incantation to your hand, right, and it gets to the end of the game, you can activate Bullseye's ability, and you have to discard all those incantations and whatever 1-cost cards that you have in this deck. And he just does a crazy... Oh, shoot. It's a crazy fun ability. And so I think Lasher... or Bullseye? No, I think he's amazing. He's a really fun card. I really like Lasher. Alright. Freaking Bullseye. God dang it. Lasher, Bullseye. I swear, man. I'm getting a bit crazy here. Losing my dang mind. I don't know how I keep mistaking one for the other. But after Bullseye, we have Sebastian Shaw. Now, I actually got him alongside Blob, but basically what Sebastian Shaw does is he'll get an additional power boost if, like, once he gets powered up one time, he'll get another boost. In fact, hold on. Let me get his... Maybe I should have kept the abilities. But this is what Sebastian Shaw does. It says, when this permanently gains power, gain +2 power, +2 more power. So, for example, let's say you played you played him next to in a location that gives your cards +1 power. Once Sebastian Shaw gets that +1, he'll get another 2, which will bring him up to a 7. So it's a pretty good card, pretty fun. Pretty decent little card. Do I use it often? No. I did make a deck using both Sebastian Shaw and Blob, but I haven't used that deck a while because I've been spending a lot of time with the newer cards. I may go back and use that again, but I think Sebastian Shaw is going to go along... is going to kind of fit in right. He's going to go in great tier. I don't think he's average. So after Sebastian Shaw, we have Blob. And basically, this dude is like the Kirby of... But he's like Kirby, but in the Marvel Snap universe, where he'll like merge with all like a bunch of your cards in your deck up until he reaches 13 power, which is absolutely insane. So it's like let's say, after you're done with the game, it's the last turn. You play Blob down, and he'll take whatever's left over in your deck, and he'll just merge with it. It's freaking fun. It's really cool. So I think as far as Blob goes, I kind of like him a lot more than Sebastian Shaw. So he's kind of going up with he's kind of going up with Bullseye here. So again, pretty solid card. After that, we have Miss Marvel. So Miss Marvel is a 4-cost 5-power card, and she's kind of like a Mr. Fantastic in a way, but it's a little bit more complex. So this is Miss Marvel's ability. Ongoing. Your adjacent locations with 2+ cards and no repeated cost have +5 power. So I guess what that means is that, if you have 2 cards that cost different in other locations, they'll get a power boost. I don't know. The ability, it's hard to understand. And it's like, I rarely use Miss Marvel in any decks. So I think Miss Marvel is going to go in with Sasquatch. Oops. So no horrible cards yet. There may be one, I don't know. But after Miss Marvel, we have Hydra Stomper, a 3-cost 2-power card, and basically the way his ability works is whenever a card moves, he'll get stronger. So, for example, if you move Vulture, or you move the Human Torch, every time you move a card, he's gonna get stronger. And I think that's just a really, really fun mechanic. I made a whole deck for this card called Hydra Stomping. It was a pretty solid deck. But is he as good as cards like Bullseye and the Blob? Not necessarily. But I think it is a really fun card to kind of mess around with. It's definitely, if you do get this card, I would definitely recommend you put him in a move deck. Although that is kind of the only type of deck that you could really put him in, but he's still really good. After Hydra Stomper, we have Kahori, a 4-cost 5-power card. So basically, the way Kahori works is the more cards that you have in your hand, the more power that she'll give your other cards. So think of it like Devil Dinosaur, but think of it like a Devil Dinosaur, but instead of getting the power, keeping the power all to itself, Kahori just dishes it out to everybody else. So it's kind of more of a support card. It's good, but it's not necessarily my favorite. I mean, don't get me wrong, its ability is really cool, but it's okay to me. It's kind of okay to me. So Kahori going in average. Next, I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to friggin'. I don't think this card needs any introductions, because it's by far one of my favorites. Out of all the cards that debuted in the new X-Men season, Surge is my absolute favorite. Like, wow. So basically what Surge does is, whenever... So basically what Surge does is he'll give one of your cards -1 cost and +1 power. So she'll get cheaper, and then your cards will get cheaper, and then also gain an additional power boost. But here's what was interesting: is when you played that card, that Surge hits, that ability will continue on. But you do need to play the card that Surge hits. So, for example, let's say you play Surge on turn 2, and then the next card you play was a 3-cost, a Khazar that now has, costs 3 energy, right? So it's now cheaper to play. When you do play the Khazar, that ability will continue. So it's a very fun and unique mechanic. So therefore, we gotta put Surge on top with the other two. With the other two awesome cards. Shoot, there might even be more amazing cards than there are like great and average, which is kind of insane. But after Surge, we have Gorr, the God Butcher, a 6-cost -1 power card. And basically, the way Gorr works is that every time you play an unrevealed card, he'll just keep getting stronger. And I think the strongest I managed to get Gorr was like in the 10s, or maybe higher than that. I don't know, but it's a really interesting and unique mechanic. Now, do I put him in amazing? Nah, yeah. I don't think he should be any lower. What the heck? What the heck? What did I? Oh, because I didn't even. Oh, that's why. Because I clicked on the thing. But we gotta put. Oops. We gotta go ahead and put Gorr alongside the top dogs because his ability is super cool. But then we go from Gorr to Cull Obsidian. And Cull Obsidian is just kind of mid. Like, don't get me wrong, he's got good power, but the thing is he's so limited. The only way you can play Cull Obsidian is if you play him with a 1-cost card. And it's like, really? What good does that really do? I mean, I guess if you played like a Hawkeye on turn 3, and then you played Cull Obsidian on turn 4, I guess that makes sense. But otherwise, to me, he's just kind of mid-average. So, yeah, safe to say Cull Obsidian is going alongside Sasquatch, Miss Marvel, and Kahori. Now, after after Cull Obsidian, we have Zorn. This is the more recent card that I got. And I'm not gonna lie. Zorn is just, once again, he's just not. I think when I built a deck for this dude, it did not go very well, man. Like, I don't know. It's like power-wise, he's a 2/3, which it's fine, but it's like you also have cards like Topaz, which I'll get to in a moment. But I don't know, guys. I don't. This is tough, though, because I don't think... Like, he just didn't do good when I played him. I don't even think he really showed up. I gotta watch that clip. I gotta watch my own vid and see what happened, because... but do I think he's a horrible card? I don't know. Like, out of all the move cards, I think he's kind of the weakest. Like, yeah, New X-Men season was kind of just mid. After any 3 or 4 cost card is played here, move it to another location. No. Yeah. I'm putting Zorn. He just didn't do it for me, man. He rarely even showed up in game. Like, the deck that I built for him just didn't work out. He just wasn't all that good. But now we're getting pretty close to finishing our tier list here. So after Zorn, we have Fan-Fei. This is one of the cards, the other Move Series 4 cards that you could get. So this is Fan-Fei. Activate. Move your other cards here to the right. I mean, it's essentially like doesn't Aranya kind of have this effect too? Because I think this card also moves cards when you activate it. So, I don't know. Fan-Fei to me is just kind of average. Fan-Fei for me is just pretty mid-average. So, unfortunately, I gotta put Fan-Fei here with the other average cards. So now we're getting pretty close to done. We have 2 more cards, Topaz and Hitmonkey. So this is Topaz, a 3-cost 4 power card, and basically what he does is he'll move your cards to the middle location. And if you set up something like Hydra Stomper and maybe like another, like a Kraven in the middle, and you played Vulture, that's like some serious stuff, y'all. That is some serious power. In fact, like, when I played a deck with Topaz, I managed to get Vulture, like, above 9 power, which is quite insane. So, yeah, I'd say overall Topaz is pretty solid, man. Pretty solid, so I think he's going in with the others. He's definitely not average. I will say that. Definitely not average. But yeah, overall, pretty solid card. And then also to round out the list, we have Hitmonkey. So this is kind of one of the more recent cards that I unlocked. So this is Hitmonkey. On reveal, give +2 power for each other card that you played this turn. So I guess what that means is if you played other cards besides Hitmonkey or with Hitmonkey, he'll get a boost, which, I mean, it's fine. I mean, I tried building a Hitmonkey deck, but I don't know. When I did play Hitmonkey, it just didn't really do it for me. So, although he's not horrible, but once again, he's kind of fitting in with the average. He's kind of like in the average side of things for me. So there it is, guys. That is the complete tier list of cards. Right here, so you can see everything. You can see the complete list. So, yeah. So, for the top 4 amazing cards, we got Bullseye, Blob, Surge, Gore. We have, for great, we have Lasher, Sebastian Shaw, Hydra Stomper, and Topaz. In average, we have Sasquatch, Miss Marvel, Kahori, Cull Obsidian, Fanfare, and Hitmonkey, and then Zorn and Horrible. The only card that just wasn't the best. But anyways, guys, hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and sub, turn on those notifications, and also definitely stay tuned for the next episode because I will be showing the new card. Although you did kind of get a sneak peek of it, but you just don't know what its ability is yet. So once again, definitely stay tuned. And also, I will be doing a seasonal tier list as well. So at the end of this season, I will be ranking all of the cards that I collected so far. And I will also make sure to make a playlist for all of my previous ones so you guys can check them out if you haven't already seen them. But anyways, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace.